Good morning, everyone.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
You are here to make a difference.
You are here to learn about various human rights injustices in the world today and how certain people, just like us, are playing a leading role in healing the wounds of violence.
You are here to share your thoughts, share your solutions, to network with all of the students sitting in this theater, as well as all of the amazing presenters who have come to share their stories with you.
You will realize the impact of every action you make, and at the end of today, you will see how you can help change the world.
More than 700 teenagers from San Diego and Baja, Mexico have gathered today for that reason. Good morning. My name is Nicole Ann Lobo, and I'm a senior at Cathedral Catholic High School.
Hello, my name is Christian Iñiguez, and I'm a senior at Instituto México Americano Noroeste. We hope you enjoyed breakfast. Now, who's excited to be here today?
Awesome. Let's keep that momentum of excitement going throughout the day. It is our great pleasure to welcome you all here to WorldLink's 18th Annual Youth Town Meeting.
As you may already know, this year's conference theme is Healing the Wounds of Violence.
Right now, you may be asking yourself, what am I doing here? Why is it so early? What even is WorldLink?
Well, to give a bit of background, WorldLink is an amazing program in the John B. Crack School of Peace Studies Institute here at the beautiful University of San Diego that connects youth to important global concerns and foster discussion on how we can help change the world.
WorldLink connects students to incredible experts and activists from all over the world and connects youth to one another to provide opportunities for education and collaborative problem solving, inspiring the next generation of changemakers.
WorldLink was founded by Ms. D. Aker as a youth education program back in 1997. Now, 18 years later, it continues to engage today's youth with dynamic speakers, special events, and a variety of opportunities that develop awareness about major issues and human rights violations that often go unheard of all over the world.
Today, we will have the honor of hearing from a multitude of awe-inspiring experts dedicated to trauma healing, violence prevention, and the cultivation of justice. Leading experts from Rwanda to Nepal, from Lithuania to here in San Diego. They have volunteered their time today to come talk to us about how we can help heal the wounds of violence and ultimately create a more peaceful, democratic, and just future.
Please join us in welcoming each speaker. And for conference moderators in the audience, if you could please stand at your seat when we call your name.
Khalid Abu Dawas, Roxanne Corbeil, and Scott Silk from Hands of Peace.
Anthony Ceja from San Diego County Office of Education, and Justine Darling from San Diego Unified School District.
Julia de Arago from A Reason to Survive Arts.
Charisma de los Reyes from the Health and Human Services Agency of Child Welfare.
Ramesh Karel from Nepal Police.
Stephen Ludbeck in the Crawford Academy of Law.
Arno Michaelis, author of My Life After Hate.
Ted Miles from Catholic Relief Services.
Alex Sanchez from Homies Unidos.
Dan Stacy from Circles for Change.
Wendy Sternberg from Genesis at the Crossroads.
Didine Umuniana from Aegis Trust.
Susana Vasilos Kaite from the Institute on Violence, Abuse, and Trauma.
Steve Vigil, Conflict Migration and Development Specialist.
And Mark Wexler from Not for Sale.
Let's give these incredible speakers one last round of applause from taking time from their busy agendas to be here at this year's U-Town meeting.
The sessions that they will share with us address this year's student-selected theme, Healing the Wounds of Violence, which will take a critical look at identifying violence, healing through medical and alternative therapies, transitional justice, restorative justice, and violence prevention.
The main theme of the U-Town meeting was selected by your votes last year. Everyone at WorldLink really values your opinions, as without you, this program would not be possible. You voted, and your voice was heard.
Sarah Farouk, a young Iraqi refugee and one of the speakers from last year's Youthtown meeting, said, "Change in the world can only come with your own hands. We have to spread what we know so that everyone can do their part to help." Pay close attention to these words, and let's do our part today by becoming active participants throughout your sessions and beyond.
Use today to build those relationships and explore solutions with the global-minded youth that surrounds you. Connect with one another. And those of you with smartphones, be sure to connect with WorldLink on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to share your thoughts and share your opinions.
Use today's hashtags, #WorldLink, #YTM 2015, and #HealingViolence. Tell us what the most pressing global issue is. Who is your favorite peace builder? Throughout the day, tell us on Facebook and Twitter. But let's still be respectful. There will be plenty of time to connect on social media throughout the day. But for the purpose of today's opening plenary and all of your briefing sessions, please silence your cell phones out of respect to our dedicated conference presenters.
We really hope that you enjoy, listen, question, and learn, and you get the most out of this unique and immersive experience. Because after all, what you put into it is what you get out of it. So, are you ready?
Please join us in welcoming our opening speakers, Ian Harkness from St. Augustine High School and Sonia Jacobs from La Jolla Country Day School. Thank you.
Good morning. As WorldLink interns, Ian and I are very excited that this day has arrived. My name is Sonia Jacobs, and I'm a recent graduate of La Jolla Country Day School.
And I'm Ian Harkness, a senior at St. Augustine High School. I'd like to start today by thanking all of you. WorldLink is an incredible program, and to see so many of you sitting here today excited about what WorldLink does, it's wonderful. There are so many high school students, so many adults who let apathy take hold, who believe they can't make a change. We're in this theater today because we don't believe that to be true, because we won't succumb to apathy. Every occupied seat in this theater is a vote of confidence, a spark of hope for the future, and I'm glad that I get to be a part of it. I first began at WorldLink as a spring intern and editor-in-chief of the latest edition of the WorldLink newspaper, which you each received in your tote bag. This paper details the events of last year's Youthtown meeting and its impact. When you get a chance, I encourage all of you to take a look through it. I also encourage you to look up the 2015 WorldLink Reader. It's entirely online as part of WorldLink's 2008 Student Suggested Initiative to be more eco-friendly. It details the intricacies of the subtopics we will be discussing today. It is a resource to learn more about the issues and their potential solutions. And it was created by a team of passionate and knowledgeable high school interns.
One of the aspects that most impresses me and Ian about the Youth Town meeting is that we're gathered here from all over the country and across the border. We represent hundreds of different cultures and backgrounds, we speak different languages, but despite our diversity, we've come together for a singular purpose. We all believe that we can heal the wounds of violence and that we can change the world.
Today's theme is Healing the Wounds of Violence, which will take a closer look at various forms of violence, from full-scale wars to domestic abuse, each with the ability to leave lasting scars. To treat these scars, whether they're emotional or physical, we must first recognize that they exist. Identifying violence is our first subtopic, and in healing the wounds of violence, it's the first step. As globally aware citizens, it's our responsibility to recognize and treat these scars, whether we can see them or not. In the wake of violence, physical wounds must be patched up, and emotional ones must be worked through. For some victims, our efforts are most fruitful when directed towards securing supplies and professionals, and physically treating wounds through medical attention. For others, we can offer alternative therapies, providing someone an art canvas, a guitar, or a camera to express themselves and the trauma they may have within.
Throughout your sessions, you'll also be exploring transitional justice, restorative justice, and violence prevention. Transitional justice is a means by which we can redress massive human rights abuses and repair governments with the hope of shaping a peaceful, stable, and democratic future. Restorative justice is a method that aims to repair harm caused by criminal behavior by taking steps to remedy that harm through a collaborative process that includes all stakeholders. Finally, violence prevention will explore how we as a society can make sure that we are not solely responding to acts of violence once they have occurred, but making sure that such horrendous acts never occur in the first place. So what, you might ask? Why should these seemingly abstract concepts matter to me? They should matter because nearly 2 decades of transitional justice work has helped Rwanda to reconstruct its society piece by piece after the unspeakable devastation of the genocide. They should matter because high schools across the US are using restorative justice to transform the way they respond to disciplinary issues. They should matter because advances in medicine have allowed young girls in South Asia and around the globe to continue to pursue their education even after horrific acid attacks.
Violence today, in all its manifestations, is one of the largest challenges facing the world. We face domestic violence, school violence, gang violence, war, genocide, torture, and human and sex trafficking. Here, even in San Diego, violence as a result of human trafficking is on the rise. In fact, San Diego was recently identified by the FBI as one of the top 13 high-intensity underage sex trafficking regions in the United States. So today, at WorldLink's 18th annual Youth Town meeting, we challenge you. We challenge every delegate in this theater to truly engage. But what does that mean?
That means participating actively in the day's discussions and activities and establishing meaningful connections with those around you. Introduce yourself to someone from another school, or even another country. Start conversations and share opinions. Listen attentively to the Youth Town meeting speakers, influential leaders in their field. Think about what they're saying, and most importantly, say what you're thinking. Please don't be afraid to ask questions. Something that's often difficult to remember when faced with such big ideas and challenging global issues is that your voice matters. It does. Regardless of your age, each and every person in this theater is a citizen of this world. The globe is our community, and each of us has the potential to be a leader, an advocate, and a problem solver. Recognizing this is a key step to achieving positive global change. But doing so can be challenging, tiring, even scary. It takes effort, like the effort all of you have made to come to the Youth Town meeting today. When asked, individuals almost always support the idea of making a difference in the world, in the abstract. It is often difficult, however, to translate these individual attitudes into collective ventures, into real action. Frequently, individuals believe that the effect of their personal participation is minimal and that they could not possibly make a difference in the outcome of a huge global issue. It doesn't matter, they think, if there are 999 or 1,000 of us working to heal the wounds of violence. Change can happen without me. But in reality, it can't. Because everyone is making that same individual calculation. So please, remember that each and every individual in this room has power. And together, we have even more. Now, since all of us are missing school today to be here, I thought it would be appropriate to take a quick quiz. Don't worry, all you need to know is your name. So I was wondering if I could get a volunteer, maybe from the first 2 rows of the audience. All right. So all I need you to do is shout your name as loud as you possibly can on the count of 3, okay? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Erica! Awesome. Oh my gosh, that was great. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're all gonna try this. Every single person in this room, including me and Ian. So on the count of 3, I want every single person in this room to shout their name as loud as they possibly can, okay? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Did you hear that? Did you feel that? That was powerful. What you just felt and what you just heard were the voices of how many people are ready to make a difference in the world. How many people are excited to make a difference in the world together. And we are going to make a difference because we know that individual participation matters, because apathy is not in our vocabulary, and because we understand that nothing is impossible if we dedicate ourselves to it. Thank you.
It is now our great pleasure to introduce to you our moderator for the open plenary panel, Alexis Parkhurst. Alexis was a fellow WorldLink intern and is currently a senior at La Jolla Country Day School, where she participates in academic league, mock trial, and is a 4-year member of the varsity tennis team. After attending the WorldLink Youth Town meetings in 2013 and 2014, Alexis developed an interest in improving global health and the treatment of people around the world, and believes that development and change must start with education. Please join us in welcoming Alexis Parkhurst.
Thank you, Ian and Sonia. And welcome. Good morning, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Alexis Parkhurst, and I spent this past summer as an intern for WorldLink, exploring the various issues that everyone today will be tackling and experiencing themselves. Before we get started, however, I have a huge, maybe favorite ask of all of you. I may have promised a few of my friends that I would take a selfie from the stage. So, please indulge me, thank you. If we can just take this moment to smile. Thank you so much for that. Now, as the responsible panel moderator that I am silencing my cell phone and putting it away for the duration of this time, as a reminder that all of you should do the same. Thank you. This morning, it is my great pleasure to serve as the moderator for the opening panel examining violence in its many manifestations. The following speakers have dedicated their lives to examining the roots of violence and trying to prevent it. After we hear from our panelists, there will be plenty of time for you to ask questions, so please write any down that you think of throughout the presentation. And, well, without further ado, let's get started. Our first panelist is Mr. Anthony Ceja. Mr. Ceja has worked in the area of gang prevention and intervention among youth. As a lead coordinator for the Student Support Services Department at the San Diego County Office of Education, he has developed his expertise in restorative practices and trauma-informed care, as well as has collaborated with law enforcement to provide gang prevention education in schools and in the community. Mr. Ceja co-chairs the North County Gang Prevention Intervention Committee and has helped to develop the North County Comprehensive Gang Initiative Project CLAIM, a networking and training opportunity for former gang members and those who support them. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Anthony Ceja.
Thank you all for having me here. And a special welcome to the people from Baja California. Bienvenidos. Yeah. It's always a beautiful thing to see our countries come together as we truly are, as neighbors, people who respect each other, who have in common the fact that we want to build a better society. And I hope that we'll always have that respect, and that WorldLink will always bring us together. Today, even though some of my expertise is in gangs and gang prevention, I'm really here more to speak about restorative practices. Oftentimes, we hear about restorative justice, and many of the schools that I serve, because I serve the schools in the county of San Diego, from San Isidro to Oceanside to Fallbrook to all these different schools, and I noticed that the schools are coming to me now and saying, Anthony, we're suspending too many people. We're expelling too many kids from our schools. We need to reduce that. We want to do restorative justice. And I think that's a good thing. I think, hey, great, let's figure that out. But when I go to train them, I try to tell them, you're talking about a restorative justice model because you're trying to reduce how many kids you're pushing out of your schools. But I want to talk to you about restorative practices, which really includes you developing a respectful relationship with every single student you have in this campus. And as from the principal to the custodian, and from every student, from every senior to every freshman, that we need to develop relationships that are based in respect, in trust, and not one that I have seen for several years in education, one that honestly has been based in kind of an oppressive relationship. When I say that, I mean the relationship that we as educators have had with students has often been based in fear and control. So I've either taught you and you've had to give me back the answers, or I give you a bad grade. Or if I give you these rules, and if you break those rules, I kick you out of the school. And one of the things that we try to do in restorative practices is begin to relate to students the way we would want to be treated as adults. I may have power and authority in the position, but the way that I treat you is really of utmost importance, and is going to help develop a relationship of trust. And I had the privilege for many years to work with Mother Teresa of Calcutta, and I learned so much from her, especially a key point that she kind of personally taught me, but she also taught the world, was no matter who you're dealing with and who you're serving, you need to treat everybody, no matter whether they're the homeless person, in the street, or the child who has no power, or people, that are really looked down upon in our society. Treat them as if you're treating God. And I remember, hearing that from her and saying, wow. And then I actually got to go to India and Calcutta and see her helping people who were dying, and she had a thing called the Home for the Dying. And I saw the way she treated these people with such love and goodness, and it really entered into me, and I realized, I want to give my life to that message. One that really treats people who may have less power than me, but treat them with that true love, that true respect. And that's really what restorative practices is about. It's actually bringing, especially young people in the schools, because that's where I work, bringing people together to start to listen to each other. Begin to be non-judgmental. Hearing people's pain and building empathy so that I can have empathy for you in the pain that you suffer, in the harm that has been caused on you. Many people have reported to me that they've been harmed even in those intimate relationships with parents, with older siblings, with cousins, uncles, aunts, with friends. Even those people in the service, the services and in government, in law enforcement. This is what young people have told me. Yeah, I've been harmed. I've been harmed even by those social workers, people that are here to serve us, but I feel like they oppressed us. And so the message of restorative practices is one to start to flip that. The power that we have is the power to serve, the power to love, the power to heal. And that's when we truly find out who we are. That's what I found in my life. When I discovered that and began to live in that way, I found something deep down in here inside my soul say yes. Kind of I think I started to restore myself to my own true self. And through that, I began to realize that, Anthony, that's truly the power that you have. And I kind of challenge each one of you. I'm assuming, you have younger siblings, cousins, younger people that relate to you as high school students. And I just challenge you to think about trying to be a little bit more like kind of that Mother Teresa attitude of, we're here to serve, not to abuse them, not to make them afraid of us, not to hold our power over them and become another oppressor, but to become one who lifts them up and shows them their true value. So I hope that today will help you also discover your own value as you go to the different workshops and you really kind of look at yourself a little bit. But always keep that in mind, that we are called here, not only here to USD, but I mean here to this earth, to become restorative, to become healers, to become people who reach out to other people, especially those people who are most in need. And I hope that each one of you will be able to find those people, but starting here today. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Seha. Our next presenter is Ms. Didine Umunyana, a youth peace ambassador for Aegis Trust, which is an international organization working to prevent genocide. Ms. Umunyana is also the founder of the nonprofit Umbrella Cinema Promoters, which provides Rwandan women with education on filmmaking and storytelling, demonstrating its role in trauma healing. Through her participation in a peace-building education program, she became committed to dialogue between people for understanding shared histories. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Didine Umunyana.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with much gratitude that I would like to express my great appreciation and honor to be standing here on behalf of WorldLink. From the heart of African nation, Rwanda, to the most beautiful part of California, San Diego. As a female from Rwanda and a storyteller, a youth ambassador, it's all because of my experience in life and the way I saw my experience to be to be a lesson for me and to be a lesson for others, for other young people. 20 years ago, I was almost 4 years old, and that's when the horrific genocide happened in my country, and I was lucky to be one of the survivors. But the genocide, it's something really destroy everything, and for my country, it was one ethnic extremist Hutu who killed another ethnic Tutsi who are minority of the population. And the Hutus wanted to finish the Tutsis on earth. So after genocide, we had to live together with the perpetrators, with the survivors, and it was not easy because everyone in our country, they were broken hearts, and they were living in a pain, and most of them, they were living in revenge. So my father, he wasn't strong enough to accept what happened to him because he was the only person left, and they killed all his family, and he went through trauma after genocide, and I had to live with him and my siblings, and what he wanted was for us to die because he didn't have hope as a survivor to live with the perpetrators in that country. So I lived a life of consequences of genocide for maybe like 9 years, and most of the time I was dreaming to go out of my home. Maybe that's where we'll find peace. And I was dreaming to go to boarding school. So that dream came true when I was 12 years old, and I went to boarding school, but I was wrong because I took all my pain and sorrow and revenge to my school because that was in me. And it was not easy because I had that wound inside me. I could not focus on my studies. I could not be able to think about my future. I was just thinking about my present and who's around me, who's those people. Maybe they're from perpetrators' ethnic, and that was destroying myself. So when I was almost 18 years old, I was selected among 30 students who were influential at my high school to go to the memorial and learn the reality and the history of my country. From the same day, that was the day that really changed my life and changed my thoughts and views, because I went to the memorial for my first time. It was almost 15 years after genocide, and I only live a 20-minute drive from my home to the memorial. But I was never felt comfortable to go to the memorial and visit and see, because for me, I thought I know everything. But I knew everything about me, but not about others. So from the very same day, I went to the memorial and visit and learn the real history of my country and learn why really genocide happened and why my people killed each other. And and I visited the room of kids, and those kids were almost my age. They were 5 years old, 3 years old, and they were killed during the genocide. From that day, I started realizing who I am and who I want to be. If I survived, that was something I should appreciate, I should accept and try to do better in my life. So from that day, I didn't know that was changing, but the way I was trying to understand it, to listen to others, that helped me to change myself. So I changed and finished my high school and start trying to help other young people to share their own stories. And that I did it with my nonprofit organization to help Rwandan youth to share their own story, because that healed me, and maybe to heal other young people. So from then I worked with young people, and that helped them too. And I was nominated as a youth ambassador in Aegis tries to work not only in Rwanda, but with other young people around the world. So if I can heal from all of those things I went through, every one of you can heal or can heal someone else. You can be a good listener to everyone. My message today is be a good listener and make a change. This world is ours, and we are the future leaders. So it's up to all of you to see things in a positive way. What is happening to you, it might be not good, but there's something maybe smaller, but it's good and it's positive. So look at that and try to make a change. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Arno Michaelis, the author of My Life After Hate. Mr. Michaelis works with Serve to Unite, an organization that engages students creatively with a global network of peacemakers. In the late 1890s, or in the late 1980s, excuse me. I apologize. And early 1990s, Mr. Michaelis was involved in the racist skinhead organizations and irreverent of a self-declared racial holy war. He was also the lead singer of the hate metal band Centurion, which is still popular with racists today. Single parenthood, love for his daughter, and the forgiveness shown by the people that he had once hated had helped him to turn his life around. Please join me in welcoming Arno Michaelis.
Thank you so much, Alexis. Thank every one of you for being here today. This is already a very powerful experience, and it would not be the same if one of us were missing. So everyone here is collaborating to create this experience that we're all sharing today. That's something I'm very grateful for. On August 5th of 2012, a man who I used to be walked into the Sikh Temple of Wisconsin in Oak Creek, a suburb of Milwaukee, and he murdered 6 people, left one elderly holy man in a vegetative state where he remains to this day with his family around his hospital bed, praying that he wakes up someday. This man did this because these people had a different skin color than he did, because some of them wore turbans, because he considered them an other who didn't deserve to share this country with him. I have a deep connection to this atrocity. I used to be the man who committed these murders. I was a white power skinhead leader, organizer, recruiter. I attacked people on the street because of the color of their skin, because I may have thought they were gay, because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time and I was drunk. I was a founding member of the same organization that the August 5th shooter belonged to. In many ways, I set the stage for him to come to be. That's why peace is so important to me, and the practice of peace. And that's why I'm so honored to be a part of Serve to Unite, which couldn't be a better fit with the theme of healing wounds through violence. Serve to Unite was conceived and founded on August 6th of 2012 by the Sikh community of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in partnership with the Sikh community around the world and with human beings from around the world. The idea of Serve to Unite is rooted in the Sikh principle of seva, which is service to others. It was very inspiring me to hear Anthony speaking earlier, of course, as well as Didine. And a common theme between their experience and mine, and between all of our experiences here, is how important it is to serve other people, and how it can be such an amazing component and facilitator of healing. I have my own wounds of violence. The violence that I perpetrated on other people will hurt me for the rest of my life. I'll never forget the harm that I've done. But that harm drives me to be dedicated to making a positive impact today. And thanks to Pardeep Kalika, who is the eldest son of Satwant Singh Kalika, the last person murdered on August 5th, and that was because he was fighting off the gunman with a butter knife, and he was shot 5 times before he died. He bought enough time for the police to get there, saving countless other lives that day. Pardeep is just as brave and just as amazing as his father. And being able to see Pardeep heal himself, to not only recover from the murder of his father, it's something that will affect him always. He misses his dad every day. But he has recovered to the point where he was able to transform an atrocity into something beautiful that brings people together from that day forward. So today, Serve to Unite is a program in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have over 600 students involved in 13 schools, students from the suburbs to the inner city, all coming together to conceive and execute service learning projects in their communities. And I'm very inspired to see WorldLink is such an amazing fit. And you guys are all doing the same exact thing. Every day, we change the world. We're all here to change the world. We're going to change it one way or another. If you're sitting on your couch playing video games, you're still changing the world just by using up resources and living and breathing. It's a matter of how we're going to change the world. So inspired by the amazing speakers who are joining me today and inspired by your peers, let's all dedicate ourselves to making that change a positive one. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Finally, we have Mr. Ramesh Karel. Mr. Karel is the Senior Superintendent of Police Commandment at the Nepal Police Junior Officers Training College in Barutpur, Chitwan. He has over 25 years of experience in investigations and parole, anti-trafficking, and special operations. In a country known for its widespread corruption, he has been instrumental in cracking down on police criminality and has embraced public-police partnership to break crime syndicates and eradicate the cultivation of drugs. Additionally, Mr. Karel has served as a United Nations peacekeeper in Bosnia, Sierra Leone, and Sudan. Please welcome Mr. Ramesh Karel.
Subha Prabhat, Namaskar, very good morning. It gives me immense pleasure to stand in front of you today at WorldLink Youth Town Meeting here in San Diego. I believe that the event will serve as a platform where the youth participants will get a unique opportunity to understand some of the complexities in healing the wounds of violence across the world. On my way to San Diego, I read somewhere, all men are equal except the policeman. I have been trying to wrap my head around that line since then. Does anyone in the crowd have any thoughts around what the underlying implication of that quote could be? This took me to a trip down the memory lane when I joined the police service back in 1989 during my youthful years. I had an unwavering belief that the ability I have to affect change in the police service in one day is more than the ability I have elsewhere in a lifetime. Looking at you in the audience gives me a sense of nostalgia. I go back to my youth years when anything seems possible, when the energy is limitless, when the passion to make a profound difference in the world is contagious. Now, the question you have to ask yourself at this stage is, what do I want to do with it? Be creative, be constructive, be imaginative. Imagination nurtures the limitless energy of the youth years and the contagious passion to make a difference. In the absence of imagination, violence succeeds, terror breeds. It is with my faith in imagination that I envision the possibility of a transformed police institution against the backdrop of corruption and impunity. Ever since I wore the Nepal police uniform, I have maintained my stance on zero tolerance for corruption. Eliminating corruption is absolutely necessary to enforce rule of law. But combating corruption is an uphill battle in a country like Nepal. It is precisely in the context of institutionalized corruption and impunity within the police service that the sense of policemen being above other men lingers. My 25-year career has focused on eradicating corruption on all levels, both within my institution as well as on the political level. Furthermore, I believe that law enforcement can only be effective through youth engagement. A youth participative approach not only helps the police reduce ongoing crimes, but also minimizes the chances of youth engaging in criminal activities. Statistics have shown that despite being educated, unemployment and involvement in organized crimes are primary concern not only in Nepal but throughout the world. Until we invest in a platform where youth energy and passion can be integrated into the life of the nation, we will fail as a society in creating sustainable peace. Recent statistics in Nepal show that the youth population is vulnerable and constitute a significant chunk of a mass involved in the criminal activities. And to make matters worse, accessibility of firearms, explosives, and narcotics, recognized risk factors of violence, add fuel to the unemployment youth segment without a sense of purpose in life. It is a poverty and structural injustice that induces certain population to engage in criminal activities in pursuit of material rewards. Youth engagement has to be at the forefront of crime reduction strategies. Having recognized that, we at the Nepal Police Service have collaborated with youth groups and organizations to increase their sense of civic responsibility and also purpose in life. Though this strategy, the approach of criminal groups, attracting the youth using firearms, explosive, narcotics will be defeated. The youths will be empowered to imagine and our theme of healing the wounds of violence in this globe can come true. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Currell. We would now like to open up the floor for any questions that you may have. We'll have 2 volunteers walking around with microphones. So if you have a question, please raise your hand and a volunteer will come to you. Also, when you ask your question, please state if the question is for the entire panel or a specific panelist so that there's no confusion. And for the wonderful adults in the room, please remember that this question and answer period is for the student delegates. Thanks. Any questions? Well, if not, I actually have a question. It can be for the entire panel or specifically for Ms. Umanyana. So there are so many people in the world that want to do things, whether it be peace building or something other. How did you bring yourself to utilize the motivation that you had in order to actually bring yourself to do these amazing things? Okay.
Thank you. Before I came here, one of my host family, I was scared. I was going to speak to 700 students, and why would I tell them? They're young. And I'm going to talk about genocide. It's something that it's not easy to tell 12 years old child or 18 years old. And how would I tell them? How would they understand? They have never experienced that thing. But he told me they will understand because this happened to you when you were 12, and you overcame it. And they need to learn that, so they will be able to understand everyone else in life. And because that's really something that drives me everywhere, because I can be able to live anywhere or to be a friend of anyone, and that helps me. So he told me a message to tell them. It's when you will be in a moment of severe crisis, raise up and see around you. There will be so many opportunities. Don't just give up. And that is really a great message for everyone. And when I was in all of those troubles and the problems, I was trying all the time to find a way to find a way and a nice life, not just give up on everything. So when I finished my high school, I didn't have a chance to continue my university studies. So from then, I was like, my life is horrible. Maybe I don't deserve a nice life like everyone. But I started writing my stories and trying to do something, like use my talent. There's something good in me I should use. So I wrote a script, I wrote a story, and I went to the ministry to ask for permission. And they told me, do you have a company that you work for? And I told them, no, I work for myself. And they told me, no, we cannot do it because you don't have anywhere that you are registered. I was like, oh. So I went back home and created the name of a company and then put the header for it. And then I went back there. I'm the founder of this company because I was like, if I'm having this problem for myself, maybe there's so many other talented young Rwandan who cannot be able to do this because they don't have any company that they work for. So if we bring together our energy, if we work together, if we have a friendship, we can do something good. They give me a permission to do my work. And I did my work, and that's where I was inspired to work with other young Rwandan. Anyone who had a talent, they were coming to me, and we started doing it for the whole young Rwandan who wants to share their own stories through their talent. We can just use our talent. We don't need money. We don't need richness to be able to do something to change the world. Thank you.
And are there any? Oh, perfect. There's a question. Oh, the microphone. Perfect.
Thank you. For Mr. Ramesh Karel, police as an institution are often perpetrators of violence. How can that be changed so that they're more peacekeepers than means of control or violence?
Please come again.
The institution of policing is often an overly violent or racist or corrupt one. How can that be changed so that they're more for peacekeeping?
Thank you very much. Yeah, you are absolutely correct. A country like Nepal, in the least developed countries, it is happening. It is very difficult to change the mindset of the society, not only police, other professions. They indulge in corruption. If anyone indulges in corruption, you don't expect good results from them. But we are working on it. We are really working on it. And the chief of Nepal Police has already adopted the zero tolerance policy as far as the corruption and violence against victims is concerned. Thank you.
Okay, this question also goes to Ramesh Karel. Okay, so you mentioned the concept of corruption, for people to get what they want in a certain illicit or illegal cost. Do you think that corruption is a cause or a consequence for violence such as in crimes or genocides mentioned?
Thank you very much. What a nice question. It's very difficult to answer these questions. It is both. It is both consequence and curse. Wherever, take an example of the countries like Somalia, Iraq, Afghanistan, and of course Nepal. Just because of corruption, people are deprived from their rights, fundamental rights. They are deprived from economic rights, and then it encourages, it exacerbates the violence. Corruption, if we manage to eliminate the corruption, it is very Herculean task. I already mentioned it, it is very difficult. But still, we have to work together to eliminate this social evil from our society.
Question for any of you. So you guys, I've heard you guys say over and over again that together we can change the world, and I'm pretty sure that most of us here, if not all of us, are here because we have that desire. But when you look at the news every day and you see stories about, oh, this many people were killed in this country, this many people are imprisoned here, there are riots, people are dying, there's this disease that's wiping out the population of this city. How can you really address that when you're faced with infinite, seemingly insurmountable problems? How, especially as youth, can we wake up one day, see all of these problems, and say, okay, I want to change it? How do you start? How did you guys start?
I think what I'd like to do is maybe refer back to what that same question was actually asked of Mother Teresa of Calcutta when she was starting her work for the people dying in the streets of Calcutta. People were saying, well, what are you actually doing to change the real problem? I mean, what's it going to do for the real problem if you just take one person and help them die with dignity? And she said, there's people who have a calling to also change their part in this, in politics and whatever it is that they're serving in. She goes, my calling is the calling that I hear from these people, that I need to go and serve them. And so I think each one of us honestly needs to discover our calling. That's extremely important for our own happiness, for our own fulfillment, but we all have like a piece of the puzzle. The puzzle is huge, right? But each one of us is one piece of that puzzle. I think it's important to start with us.
That's a brilliant answer, Anthony. And I think that's essential to really develop and realize that each one of us has special talents and special gifts that may make us especially valuable in certain situations. To me, though, if the question is asked, what can I do? How is what I'm going to do change any of this? The answer is very simple, and it is that every single person in this room needs to have the bravery to believe in the possibility of peace and the wisdom to understand that peace isn't an end result. I'm under no illusion that we'll ever reach a point on earth where like, hey, all right, it's peace now. Don't have to deal with that nonsense anymore. Peace is a moment-by-moment process. It's something that we do. It's a verb. So if we have the bravery to imagine peace and then practice it in our day-to-day lives, we can create moments of peace that will be built upon, attract other moments of peace, and we'll have an afternoon of peace and a day of peace, maybe a week of peace. And then you know what's going to happen? Something really messed up. And it's all going to come crashing down. And you know what we do then? Start all over again. You build another moment of peace and you go from there. And you do that on a foundation of human kinship, looking at the people around you as brothers and sisters, as part of your family. And if you can root yourself in those very simple but profound practices and beliefs in your life, you will do a huge good to the world, and you'll be an amazing contributor to make the world a more peaceful place.
And there's a question back there, and unfortunately this will be our last question for this morning's panel.
Okay, this is for the whole panel. What are the largest barriers you all individually face in trying to promote peace on a daily basis?
What's the biggest obstacles like?
Yeah.
What are the biggest obstacles to peace in your...
I'll take that.
Thank you.
For me, the biggest obstacle is that people, especially in politics, education, law enforcement, human services, people that have power over people, they really don't understand. They're not self-aware. They're not seeing that what they're doing oftentimes is very oppressive. They're treating people in a way that is very disrespectful. They're holding people down. And unfortunately, the answer is that you have to bring people up and you have to help to empower people, because those are the very people that are going to help to build a better society. And if we continue to oppress people in those positions that we are going to have, all the young people in here are going to have positions of power and authority at one time in your life. Even if it's that you're a parent or that you're just an older sibling, you're going to be in that position of power. And so we have to see ourselves as, like our friend and brother here says, we have to build, we have to continue to build a momentum of peace and respect and goodness and light, even though there's darkness out there, and even though there's a lot of people who are very oppressive and disrespectful, we have to continue and we have to continue to do that.
What I would say about this is, if we're here and we are young and we will be leaders of the coming generations, we will not need to treat other people how we didn't want to be treated. So you need to treat someone as you want that person to treat you. And if you want someone to listen to you, listen to them. And you will never know how to judge or how to blame if you didn't listen to that person, because you don't know how that person feels. And I think we really need to stop blaming others and try to be friends, like to friendship. It's really something that helps in life, and make good choices. So for this life, we live only once, and we don't want our life to be only in the darkness. And it's up to us to choose light. And if you want light, you don't want your surroundings to be dark. So for your own good, do something good for others, and you don't need to power to be able to do good. And who you are, it's something that helps others. Be the light for others, and it doesn't need a lot. It's just in you. Just find it and use it, and you do good. We only need courage. The courage is something that may help you to do a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have at this moment, but you will get the chance to ask any unanswered questions or go into greater discussion with the panelists during your briefing sessions, as well as during lunch. I wanted to note here to keep an eye out for the photo that I took earlier in the presentation, as it will be on WorldLink's Instagram page later today. We will now be transitioning into the briefing sessions, which will be held in a different building. So please join me in welcoming Sandra Quiroz and Erica Zepeda to the stage so that they may give you further instructions on moving to your next room. Thank you.
Good morning. Weren't they amazing? I'm Erica Zepeda from CETIS Tijuana.
And I'm Sandra Quiroz from Instituto México Americano Noroeste.
At this time, we will all be moving to our first briefing session. To know which group you belong to, look at the group number on your name tag. This will tell you which sessions you will be attending to throughout the day. To locate your first briefing session, please refer to page 4 of your program. Upon arriving, introduce yourself to someone new. You will be traveling together throughout the entire day, so get to know one another right from the start.
Throughout the day, you will be attending 3 different briefing sessions, in which you will have the opportunity to interact, acquire knowledge, ask pertinent questions, and share powerful opinions. We invite you to take advantage of this wonderful opportunity and the incredible tools we will be receiving today.
So now, as a group, we will all walk to the John B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice building. You will exit the same doors that you came into this theater, and then keep walking until you exit the building and head onto the street. We will then make a right and head towards the Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice building. Please be sure to stay with the group and to take all of your materials with you.
Remember, if you have any questions, you can ask any of our wonderful volunteers, who are the people with the green ribbon name tags. Now, please join us in giving one last round of applause to our brilliant speakers. As we start this day, go out there, make new connections, talk to conference experts one-on-one, but most importantly, allow yourself to discover the power of change within you. Thank you, and enjoy your day.